Warm welcome. This is Markus Termin, Astrologisches Stundenbuch. It's the full moon day. It's the 23rd of May 2024. The sun is of course in the sign of Gemini and the moon is in the sign of Sagittarius. So this is the moon of wisdom and knowledge. This is when wisdom and knowledge is set up on the table and we are out to reach new worlds of what is wisdom? Wisdom is more than knowledge. Wisdom is knowledge plus spirit. This is what the Sagittarius moon offers down here, and there's a whole lot of new information coming up with the sun in Gemini. At the same time, and this is most interesting, and this is what I love on astrology the most, is we do have a whole lot of interesting, most exact aspects, of which the most important is, of course, the conjunction of Venus and Jupiter in the sign of Taurus. Venus and Jupiter in the sign of Taurus is also being reflected for instance, at the financial markets, at the gold price, at the Bitcoin price, things like that. It's mainly the idea of a growing new wealth in difficult times anyhow. We still have, of course, the warrior on the hurting side, Mars in Aries. There's no difference really with that, because as you see this cluster here, there's the point of luck also, but this is the rising sign. This is only for Middle Europe. But you see Mars, Chiron, and the North Node in the sign of Aries. It's still not time for diplomacy. Sorry, diplomacy. That's nice. Diplomacy. But serious theme though, nothing to laugh actually. But this time is going to come pretty soon, within a few months. We're going to discuss that later on a new moon chart, an upcoming new moon chart, most interesting thing. But the full moon energy actually is the energy of harvesting in what has been built up from the last new moon period up to now. And what is to harvest is actually get out there, get information, get wisdom, and make some real estate, some real things that are touchable, that are movable, that bring an outcome of Taurus. And Taurus, in addition with the revolutionary idea that, when we have Uranus in Taurus, it's actually the idea of putting together the energies of a whole group to build up a new feeling of wealth in reality. We can't take anything with us anyhow, going to the other worlds. So this is the gathering under the sign of well-being, and I hope you will be able to manage something like that throughout these days. If you must be the warrior in the Aries side, be the peaceful warrior, the one who goes out for the idea of healing. And healing is very necessary in a worldwide sense. Why is it necessary? Because humanity has been wounded a long time ago. And the results of this wounding is what we see in separation, in parting, in cruelty, in the possibility of bad forces, to do things with humanity. This has not been like that all the time, and it will not go on until the end of times. But there is a healing possibility, there is a healing, and in my sense it's Christ and Christ 100% and even more than that. There are the good news out there are not in the papers. They are not on Twitter. They are not on Facebook, actually. They are not in the informational Kybernetics. One of them is that, for instance, I think it's 6 states in the US brought out a law against geoengineering. So there's good news out there. The so-called WHO treaty, is about to, getting edges. Not everyone is interested. The government of the United Kingdom is obviously forced to bring out a general election, which is a trick, of course, to get yourself out of trouble. The trouble is getting too high, too strong. Andrew Bridges is one of the persons that is pushing it, and they obviously don't have a possibility to take him out of the game as they do with other folks. One of the most interesting aspects, I'm talking about this a little bit longer because it's so interesting. If you have a full moon signature and at the same time there are a lot of aspects like within a clockwork, clicking in and bringing out the message, we do have an exact aspect right now too, which is one of the most interesting things is the trine from Pluto, still in the sign of Aquarius, towards the Sun, and a little later, because Jupiter will shift in the sign of Gemini on Sunday, Jupiter will take the position of the Sun and keep the trine to Pluto, while Pluto is retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. Pluto being retrograde in the sign of Aquarius is an overview, a consolidation, we could call it, about the freedoms we have lost up to now. People are getting aware. People are, for instance, in my country, looking back at the Constitution. Of course, there are, bugs on the side of the road, trying to have a little piece of that Constitution. For instance, one of the big German newspapers, the so-called FAZ, they are even trying to discredit the founders of the Constitution. By the way, they have been too conservative, they have been Christian, were they really wise persons? It's going into that direction. So they are trying to make freedom retrograde, actually. But us regular folks who want to keep our freedom, who were born free and we want to stay free, have a good reason to open up this window and see what have we had in the past. Also, if we combined it with the moon of wisdom and knowledge, we could approach the knowledge about what is our own part in the whole game. What is possible, even in small movements, to change, not to give our grain of salt towards this movement about destruction, about extinction, about false claims like human-made, blah, 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 and anything that is out there, let's call it fanatic ideas, doesn't help mankind. Mankind needs to find in a middle and needs, this is my view on things, needs to find out who's the real enemy, who's behind that. And there's an enemy. It's not a pony farm. The world is not a pony farm, and there is a separation in between things, but it's not about separating people. It's not about Christians against Muslims. It's not all that. This is all separation ideas of the past being installed by people circumcised by heart. This is what Paulus actually speaks in his letters. So, too much talking today. Have a full moon, have a bright full moon of knowledge and wisdom. This is what I wish for you and all of us. This is Markus Termin speaking up here on my mail address. Mind the DE at the end, because this is a German address, and down here at my blog site you'll find the conditions for a personal consultation. How does this work? We make an appointment, you send your dates, and I'll send you out a Zoom link. This turned out to be pretty usable, so I'm going to use Zoom. That's the way it goes. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow. Happy full moon.